Welcome back everyone to FACEIT TV. We're here with ECS League Season 2. I'm Hugo, joining me is Tom, and we're going back into...
You mean Hairline?
In Hairline, yeah.
Hairline,
joining me is Hairline. I'm Budget Henry G, joining me is Hairline. And we're going back into the second map between LG and NRG, this time, once again, on Dust 2.
Oh, a twist. No, yeah.
No, no twist.
It would be great if we just went into like something else, just like Inferno or like Black Gold, or just just a map that's not even in the pool anymore, just for fun. But no, we are going into Dust 2. Clearly some changes need to be made by LG. Not roster changes, although maybe. No, I'm kidding. PKL, of course, played well earlier, just didn't have a very good map, and I'm hoping he can get going a little bit better. It just looked like from the beginning, it's sort of one of those things, like when you're on 0, it's very, very difficult to come back from that if everything just doesn't go your way, if you just get caught out in positions, and it can happen.
It's such a mental game as well. Counter-Strike's so mental. If it's all in your head and you're just thinking, oh, this game's just terrible, I hate this map, you know, what can I do? You're just going to continue to wrap yourself around that, and you're going to continue to do badly. So you can only imagine that is going to continue later into the game, of course. But we're going back into the pistol here. This is Deja Vu. We're back on Dust 2. This is LG starting on this T side and NRG on the CT side.
Yeah, exactly the same as last time as well. So the knife clearly went the same way. PTR going to start things off, and what can they do a little bit more? Starts with a second, looking for a third, can't quite connect. SHOOWTiME will be there to trade at least one back, but tabseN, he's up the top, actually gets caught as well, so we're back to a 3v3.
Yeah. Now the bomb getting grabbed and backing off towards the tunnels. Here we have a bit of a rotation from NRG, moving GodB back towards the A site. And just as I was about to say that's a bad idea, it seems like maybe a right one, because Yell, he's taking some aggressive long control, forcing his teammates to come in through the T-spawn. Massive kill as well. Now takes a man advantage back to the T side, and they can bring this bomb finally through long onto the site. But the thing is, it's all going to depend on how NRG react to this. And PTR reading the situation perfectly. He gives away his position, though. Now he has to run back towards short, but LG already committing towards long. He has a long-range gun, so he's still going to be in the books to hold this one off as they cross towards long, but they are going to finally...
had to smoke that late as well.
Yeah, they are going to finally make their way on the site. Yell, another key kill. This is going everything in the way of LG right now, and it's all going to be on FugLy for the retake.
Yeah, already seeing a different start, but FugLy, he was the man of the match in the last. Although the highlight reel may lie to you, and we'll see whether or not he can do something at least. He doesn't have a kit, and well, Yell has just started this off with a bang. Triple kill for him. LG already starting stronger than we saw previously, as it took them a little while to get back into things. I think it was 3, I think they got 1, and then they lost a few more, so that sort of started them off on the wrong road. But nice round from Yell. And now we will be seeing somewhat forced by, of course, PTR going to be saving for that AWP. LEGIJA not fully investing either.
Yeah, nothing too dangerous here, and we will most likely see a bit of a spray down from LG once again here. NRG playing this one very aggressively. They didn't have really any aggression in the previous map, not even on these ecos here, so actually switching things up, and this is something LG probably won't be expecting going into this second map here. So tapping away, Shiz will hit 1, FugLy will fall, but again, not too much invested. We can't imagine NRG to pick up too much, and this is one of those maps where pistols really aren't as, successful, I guess you could say. In comparison to maps maybe like Nuke or Cash, where you can really play these close range positions, and you don't, if you retake on A with a pistol, you're screwed. Short, long, CT, there's no way you can really go that's going to favour you. So it's one of those maps that you don't expect C ecos have too much success unless you go for the full Tech 9 B rush, which is a completely different story. But the only person we've got to look out for here is going to be tabseN, because he has armor, but he is pushed towards the top and middle. We read this completely wrong, and LG will be hitting B through the tunnels.
Yeah, just rotating themselves back. He will be able to get a UMP, so maybe something to even just keep into the next round, which I think is going to be something valuable for them at least. Of course, he can also drop his pistol, so it may actually just be worth saving into this one, and we'll see what they can do in the next. But bomb will go down. They realise pretty quickly that it's on the B site as well, and that's going to be the end of this round. No real chance for a retake. You can already see the fullback coming in from LEGIJA, as he will go to join his teammate. In fact, goes towards long doors, maybe looking for something else, but they've only killed 1 player, so unless his teammate had something for him to pick up, maybe he can try and take the Kevlar off his body and put it on or something along those lines. Wouldn't that be a cool? It just takes like 20 seconds.
But look at the carry here from PTR. God damn. 3 kills, 0 for everyone else. Noob team, kick. Call a vote.
Well, maybe if he's speaking like that, I think they're going to look to kick him.
Maybe.
Just for BM.
Yeah, BM.
It does look like PKL, again, hasn't got off to the best start, but this time,
it's only round 2. Stop putting him in that situation.
It's only round 2.
We're 2 rounds in. You can't start saying he's going to set
Technically,
this
is like round 20, so we've just continued on from the last map. But he will be getting himself the MAC-10. He's going to be playing that aggressive role of trying to catch our players. Of course, they don't want to lose the rifles going into the next couple. But we are now looking towards tabseN. Of course, able to drop his pistols to somebody else. Has a few nades to play with. But really, a lot of pressure on his shoulders if they're going to get anything done in this round. And already SHOOWTiME starting things off over towards B. It does seem like aggression over towards this B tunnels position just doesn't work because SHOOWTiME is always waiting.
Oh, but look at this position down in the lower B tunnels here. PTL's going to be ready for this. Instead, actually, he decides to push towards top mid. This is where he may get caught out. The timing going to get the better of him. Shiz drops him. Once again, the man advantage residing heavily in the favour of LG. We do have a player on the site to deal with, who is at least towards the ramp, but tabseN gets caught out. That's going to be PKL to find him. Again, 2 kills. This is already half of what he got in the previous map. So nice stuff from him.
I think it's important that he gets onto the ball quickly. So now there's no... Well, I wouldn't say there's no pressure, but there's a lot less pressure because it's not like last time where things went wrong. Obviously, it was one of those rounds where it was really just pistols, and now we go into the buy. A little bit of a bonus round coming in for the LG side. They've got plenty of cash to buy up in the next, so they're just going to go with a couple of UMPs along with the rifles.
Indeed. Can't imagine too much is going to come of this one, really. If they go for a fast B, I don't really know. I really don't like the fast B through smokes here, but somehow, yeah, as I said, they're going to just get sprayed down. LEGIJA and GodB both finding those first kills. Shiz will at least refrag one, but it's going to be the favour actually for NRG. That finally gets rebutted though as LG. They're going to make it work, or Shiz will. 2 more kills for him. It's going to be the site control under the Brazilian hand, and now a 3v2 in play as NRG. They have to rotate back in, and I mean, with an AWP, no utility, it's not the best position to be in.
Yeah, we are just waiting for this plant to come down now. Of course, Shiz is just waiting to see if there's anybody close. Doesn't want to have any sort of risk because while he's planting the bomb, he can't really do too much, and the rest of his team will just be stuck. Now, with a 3 versus 2 B site, not really much hope unless a mistake is made and this AWP can catch somebody out, but not looking likely at this point in time. 3 players left, and yeah, they're just going to fall away. Just save what they have, bring it into the next round.
Safest option. LG aren't going to be chasing, despite being 3-0 up at this point, but there's no point losing guns just to stop a bit of a buy from NRG. It's unlikely they're going to fully commit to a buy with 2 rifles saved, but that being said, the loss bonus is starting to build up, so they're going to have 2,900 after this. So you could potentially see a buy if Peter and FugLy both drop a rifle each, a FAMAS, for example. You can get good amount of nades alongside that. So a buy's not out of the realms of possibility, but it's really going to depend on their elected decision here. If you have 3 players, you're always going to buy. If you have 2, it's kind of a grey area. You can see they aren't going to be going for buy. They're just going for a bit of a quasi, some pistols, some armor, and a bit of utility as well. So nothing too massive. It's a safe option. I like it. It means they're going to be able to buy up next round regardless, because you still get loss bonus when saving on the CT side. But Yell, I like this aggression.
Yeah, not working out so well.
Destiny.
Oh, Destiny actually takes him down instead, and this is the worst possible start to this round when all we really see is a couple of rifles in play at the moment. tabseN, okay, not a bad spot. He's going to take a little bit of control. Oh, he's going to be baiting as well. This is nice.
I like that. They see Peter, he shoots, he backs off, tabseN gets a kill. That's the whole point of the setup. However, LG a little bit too wary of this position. They're going to Molotov down lower, just holding onto the upper tunnels. But FugLy, very fast peek in, catches SHOOWTiME while he's in mid-spray. Clever there, but he's going to finally put the man advantage now 2 up in the favour of NRG. As LG, they are going to be rotating back towards long again. This is much like their pistol. They have their long control, and these B players coming back with the bomb. That's Destiny there, 4 HP left on him. PKL going to try and tack one down, does do so. FugLy returns, but Shiz only gets 1 for his troubles before Peter takes him down with the AWP. It's all Destiny now. 4 HP and a dream, and I don't think that dream will be turned into a reality anytime soon.
Yeah, he's going to be able to smoke off the cross. Even a bomb plant here could be quite valuable for his side, although they have got 4 rounds in a row looking for the kill, but Peter is there to finish him off. So, NRG, they're onto the board. Of course, the reset is all but prominent. And yeah, not going to be a problem for the T side to get back on the board either, so they didn't really need the bomb plant, but would have been a nice little bit of money into their pockets.
Yeah, could help them later in the game, you never really know, but as you said, buy going to be easy for them. They have the AWP up, they have all the rifles. Doesn't look like they're going for anything fast with the setups they do have. It seems just like a bit of a default, although a bit of pressure into the B tunnels again. Yeah, with this AWP. Hopefully Destiny won't team kill him this time, but it's actually SHOOWTiME to join him, to at least remove that potential.
Yeah. Destiny, you go to the other side of the map this
just
time.
leave me alone.
Just keep away. I don't want to die. Thank you.
Like magnets.
However, Destiny, well, he is the man to watch the moment. Although FugLy, oh, it looked like he was tempted.
Oh, I like this. So he's re-smoking. They're not going to think he's pushed up. That's going to give the at least information that they're holding back on long. But he pushes up. He takes the kill onto Shiz. Another man advantage again residing in LG side. LG going to try and trade things out in middle, and you can already see the push from Yell. He's going to make some footsteps as well as he backs off, but still they need to find a commit to this one. They will. tabseN, not too sure what he had in his head there, but
I think it was the pop flash.
Yeah, but neither of the players are looking at it, so clever release from LG, but NRG are going to lose out on that.
Oh, not this
push
time,
through the smoke. Yeah, that's where it goes. FugLy is going to be able to make it work, however, and now it is going to be a 3v4 with LG hitting this A site.
Pete there with the AWP, however, and that's the bomb. That should be the round done and dusted. Even with Yell getting this kill, getting that bomb back is going to be so very difficult. And I'm just looking at the moment. Well, Yell, he's finding the frags, but SHOOWTiME's still on this flank. A long, long flank. And it could be perfect for defending this bomb. However, we also have to watch out for GodB, who's got all the way back towards the site. If he peeks right now, he should be able to catch out this AWP, who has absolutely no idea. SHOOWTiME on this flank now, looking for LEGIJA. Will be able to trade it back to a 1v1. He has 20 seconds to play with. The bomb is in his grasp. GodB doesn't really need to peek this one, as he doesn't have time, surely, to go back towards this B site. So he has to challenge A. 10 seconds left. GodB. Oh, is he going to know? Well, going straight for this plant. Oh, baits him out!
Balls!
Still gets it!
The balls on this man. SHOOWTiME. What a clutch pulled out from the LG side. And that is it. That is a reset that you talked about. The money being completely decimated. At least NRG have a bit left in their bank on two of the saving players from early on in the map. But still...
They're going to go for it.
Yeah, triple pistol, I can imagine. No, we actually get the double AWP out. There's a bit of money left on tabseN as well. So he is able to get that M4. But still, what a clutch from SHOOWTiME.
Yeah, still an impactful one, but Peter starts things off. PKL is down. Yell will be able to run away. Of course, there was a timing pick, but never mind about timing. Peter jumps straight back in, and he gets himself another one. FugLy, well, that may have been a little bit overzealous, but he did have a pistol in place. He was trying to get a rifle into his hands. It will be the 3 versus 4. Still a pistol on GodB, but I suppose it's better than not having a player whatsoever. LEGIJA without armor, it does look like they're about to challenge towards this B site. And... well, you can see just a slow push from Destiny. He finds the pick. Now you have to remember, GodB, he only has a pistol. If he can get one at least, maybe he can give his team a chance for the retake. It does look like he should just fall back. This is, oh, I was about to say, very, very risky.
Yeah, LG are going to be able to cross. That's the thing. I think he honestly should have pushed out, tried to get a 1-for-1, because a 2v2 is so much easier to retake on B than a 3v3, and especially with a pistol, he's not going to be much help on a retake playing long ranges. So I wouldn't even judge him for going for a bit of a preemptive push as the smoke went down. But now the man advantage in the hand of the LG side. We have tabseN on the window. GodB as well, sitting in middle, sitting pretty, and he's going to be backing off, maybe to grab a gun and try and save this one out. As LG, they have pretty much guaranteed this round in the bag for them. It is 6 on the board. And NRG yet to really make a scrape into their bank. They keep 3 players alive as well, and it doesn't seem like it's going to be contested at all as they back off towards the tunnels.
Yeah, GodB will be able to retrieve an AWP at least, so not too bad going into the next one. But now we do actually have the situation that we previously saw, where if they were to force into this one, it would just be pistols. They are going to drop it over to P2. We'll just buy some Kevlar. I don't think they should invest much more into this one. I think that would be a huge risk, but they are going to go full in now. This is where the money could start to build up behind them, but also you look at the scoreline, LG 6-1 up. If this gets too much more, well, we could be seeing a reversal of what we saw in the previous.
The fast play from Destiny. He's not going to get the first kill. That will be SHOOWTiME's instead. Man advantage already, and SHOOWTiME again. What are you doing? 3 kills. That is absolutely huge. And NRG, they are going to just crumble as LG take complete control of this B site. And once again, it's like deja vu. They're just backing off towards the top of middle. This time, though, SHOOWTiME's chasing. He's hungry for kills. However, Yell is still in T-spawn with that AWP, giving away his position. tabseN's going to be chasing. Knife out, pulls out the gun, goes for the shot, but he's only just going to connect it on the final bullet. SHOOWTiME gets dropped in middle on the chase, but Shiz is going to be able to refrag. PTR going to be dropped, and now it's all on tabseN, but I imagine he will be able to get away with the save. No, he takes a fight, and Shiz actually benefits as well. So LG 7-1. This is true Brazil style here, against the Germans as well. So what are we even seeing? Brazil 7-1. You can't say that word, can you? You know, Brass 7-0-1. No, it doesn't work.
It only works with 8-2, really. There aren't too many more that it works with.
No.
Maybe we'll get there. Then you can make that brilliant joke. Either way, it is just going to be pistols coming in for the NRG side. I don't know what's changed, but whatever it is, it seems like LG having a much better time, 7-1 up. They did have a reasonable T side previously, 9-6 was the scoreline, but they've already done one better, and I would be very surprised if it wasn't two. Got B, a bit of an off angle, but it doesn't matter. He doesn't manage to connect the shots in the end, and, well, Peter, last player left alive, just waiting around the corner. Can he get one? Yes, he can, and that's actually a rifle into his hands. Maybe there's potential. SHOOWTiME's low, but straight through the door. This man is still on fire. At least one thing is constant, and that is SHOOWTiME's performance.
11-3, same as Shiz. That's the thing. We haven't been picking up on that so much, but he is doing very well. The same exact score.
Well, it's the difference between one player stepping up and, say, 3 players stepping up. It makes things so much easier, and Yell is having a good performance as well. There hasn't been so much of a slack. PKL isn't just doing nothing, so... No. It's always going to be a little bit easier when it's not just a one-man carry.
And I don't want to put like a dampener on Chiz, but it seems like a lot of the frags SHOOWTiME is getting a lot of entry frags, you know, a lot of key, very impactful frags. I'm not saying Chiz isn't, but a lot of his frags.
Well, like he was catching people.
Yeah, a lot more late round, a lot more kind of exity, not as important. But still, obviously, he's been a real maker into this match. But SHOOWTiME is going to be the name, I guess, to look out for the time being.
Yeah, maybe he'll get the highlight reel other than PKL this time. You never know. The producer is mean. Let's just put it that way. I was going to say something else, but mean sounds better. Either way, 8-1 up, a minute left on the clock. We're waiting to see which direction LG will go this time. And, well, again, it's a buy, but they're not saving. They're not doing the same sort of strategies we saw before. It's like they've tried to switch things up over towards this B site, and it doesn't seem to be working too well. We'll see a couple of frags. LEGIJA trying to tap away, and he does get a double, so that's at least something. They have rotated a second player over, however, and that leaves just one man over on this A site. Oh,
but this full push, they're not going to expect the angle from tabseN. Yell caught out with a nade in his hands. The second player able to trade. Shiz, very impactful frag, and 2. That's important. FugLy only with an M4, no utility left, does have a kit to work with, but LG, meanwhile, getting the bomb down on the site. Shiz has an AWP as well, so he's going to be able to pick that up and play with it as FugLy pushes right and fast back into this site. The utility expended now for LG. It's all on FugLy to hit the shots. Shiz is going to be playing a more passive angle. Those could push right out, but PKL going to be able to round the corner, get that headshot, and LG's 9-1 in the bag as well. So this is a complete polar opposite of the previous map.
Well, I think the other thing to mention is the fact that really the 2 players that we highlighted as the players who were going huge over on, well, on the CT side especially, have been completely quiet. That's a nice shot. LEGIJA manages to catch one out, but the players we're talking about are tabseN and FugLy, and that's sometimes what happens when people have a huge individual performance. If they're not there the next time they play, things can fall apart. Unfortunately, the next time they play was literally minutes between, so well, Shiz going to find another one. And this is, again, just turning into cleanup. That one kill that came in at the beginning of the round, exciting as though it was, isn't actually going to play too much of a part unless LEGIJA can just go huge with this scout. And in terms of map control, well, look at the position of SHOOWTiME. Well,
LEGIJA could have had some impact as it seemed like LG were heading towards long, but now finally they've backed off. He is going to get himself 2, but they are hitting B regardless, so Scout, not a great weapon for this position. However, got B has a perfect angle, and he's going to be able to get 1. Traded, but that's not an issue. He only has a pistol, so you can't expect too much. LEGIJA grabs himself an AK, and if he can get back into this site very, very fast, I wouldn't like to see him play for retake. I want to see something ballsy. Pushing through the smoke. He does it! First kill as well. It's all on Shiz. Pushing back in, but he gets into position, hides behind the box, baits out the time, and waits for his teammate to rotate back in from the flank. Shiz, though, he's not done with his aggression, wants to push back in himself. Works his way out into middle, try and spot for a rotation, but already Peter is going to be coming in through the tunnel. LEGIJA finding an elevated angle, still the ammo very low, and Shiz, he has to get the reload, has utility to play with, and the time. There's no need to be too fast about this one, but he's just going to wait for a close angle to find himself a kill, but LEGIJA does it! That's 4 kills in the round. You called him to step up massively, and he did, and that will be a 2-9.
Yeah, no, this first shot was just lovely. Spots him through the gap and then continues it. I think that one didn't get enough response as it should have done. That was impressive too. And then you wanted a ballsy play, you got one straight through the smoke. He finishes off the remaining players. Big round coming out from LEGIJA, and hopefully we can see a little bit of a change. SHOOWTiME, look at this aggression. He's going straight out. He's right up close and personal. Actually going to bump into them. He goes straight through the smoke. Looks for a second, and tabseN doesn't even manage to capitalize, but eventually trades a couple back. Again, SHOOWTiME well, showing us some impressive plays, very, very aggressive stuff, and he will give his team an advantage going into this 12th round.
Yeah, definitely so. And with so early on in the round, they have now have 1 minute 20 to just work out what they want to do. They don't need to barrel onto a site because they're running low on time. They can just wait for NRG to either force a rotation, get a bit aggressive, and you can already see that in tunnels as LEGIJA pushes up. This is okay, though. This is what I like to see because right now, LG, they are leading this round. They are commanding what is going to be happening with this round. So going for this aggression, clearing this out, can at least put hope in the fact that God B now knows it's likely going to be an A take unless they all split through middle, which is just so unlikely. So LEGIJA continuing this push. However, PKL's in T-spawn, so it's only going to take another second or two before he is heard making these footsteps. And PKL, so not turned around. Hello, PKL, headset. LEGIJA though, he spotted him, he's got the information. It's all on God B if LG hit long, but PKL splitting towards short, so at least he has that knowledge. But still, this is quite dangerous because they don't know the full whereabouts of the LG side.
Yeah, really the value would be if LEGIJA went long. Unfortunately, he's not. He's going to be going towards the short position and... Oh, okay, change of heart. The only problem is I wonder if there is a hold coming in. It looks like Yell is just assuming that he's not in this direction. LEGIJA, oh, he is going to get that kill. Finds the first. God B is on the edge of the smoke. If he can deny the plant, it would be over before it begins, but it's not going to happen. He may be able to get one pushing back in. There's still a player over towards this short position in the form of PKL. He snaps. Tries to go for the second, doesn't manage to get either, but he has given LEGIJA some hope. He knows exactly where both players are, trying to step up in the last couple of rounds. He's going to need to do it again. Finds the first. Shiz is the last one left alive. LEGIJA, he gets 3 kills in this round. The last 3 remaining players, he'll pick up that AWP as well for Peter. And, well, needed someone to step up, that was for sure. Not normally expecting it to be LEGIJA, but hey-ho, he's doing the work.
I mean, don't want to bash on his work. Obviously, great as it was. A bit of a misplay from LG. No need to take the fight, at least from PKL on short. He could have just backed off. He threw out the molly, though, understandably so, but he could have just thrown it onto default, to be honest. He didn't need to fully peek to the angle to throw it towards ramp. However, regardless, for him to hit the shots, great work indeed. And LEGIJA could be able to pick up another round for NRG, but is it too little too late? That is a question, because LG are still 9-3. And, well, this could technically be brought back to a 9-6, which isn't even that bad on the CT side.
But then it could be a 12-3.
It could be a 12-3,
so.
yeah. It's looking scary nonetheless, and it's all going to basically come down to these last 3 rounds of the half here. So, obviously, we got a decent buy for NRG, but, again, much as we saw LG versus TSM, the rounds NRG are winning on this map seem to be all coming down to the clutches. Yeah,
very, very close couple of rounds, and really their economy is going to be on the brink, especially after only 1 player surviving into the last. We'll see whether or not LG are able to capitalize, or if it can go back the other way, and maybe we'll see a little bit of economic damage coming onto that LG side. Of course, they are getting the bomb down still in most of these rounds, so a little bit skeptical as to whether they'll be able to do so. But either way, for the moment, just going to be a couple of smokes. It does look like they are positioned over towards that B site at the moment, where you look at the bomb, a couple of players in lower tunnels. The furthest away from the bomb is actually only on short. No presence towards long whatsoever. And that could be a pounce coming out from FugLy, but PKL, the timing is going to push through. Repeat comes out. tabseN misses the shots, and there's the impact from PKL. 2 kills, and already we see God B. It looks like he's getting ready to rotate, and it may be the wrong decision. Peter is going to line them up. He needs to start connecting. Gets 1. If he can get another, that would be so valuable, but it's got B. Repeat. SHOOWTiME is just dancing away, and finally, Peter will finish him off. This round has fallen apart after a wonderful start from PKL, and now Yell, he's going to get finished off by FugLy.
4 rounds on the board. NRG are not looking as contested as they were earlier on. And now LG, obviously, with not a lot of money, I still feel like a buy is possible here for them. They could invest in it, and the confidence may predict them to do so. But no, they're just going for the safe buy.
They're pretty good at actually just wanting their buys or relying on their buys. They're not a team like we saw. One of the rounds they got in the last match was a full eco, but the only way you get those sort of rounds is if you full eco. They weren't just planning on winning that round. Of course, they did, which changed the game significantly. But, well, in this round at least, we talk about full eco round wins. They're not doing too well with the pistols.
No. Not at all. Not a point of damage done this round, especially. So I can imagine they will be able to tag down God B, but okay, maybe not. PKL just gets shot in the face, and Yell's just waiting for his haircut, his imminent haircut here. Although he has a deal to give a haircut out of his own. Got B, gets shot in the face. And he will try and follow up towards middle, but FugLy having the range advantage there with the M4. Going to be able to drop him. And NRG 5 rounds. Now 6 to 9 is looking very, very likely, although LG do have a 4-buy for the last round of the half, which is where things get a little bit dangerous for NRG. They could end up with a 10-5, which, while obviously looking at statistically, not a great score for CT on Dust 2, it could be worse. They honestly, they started off this map at least with, what was it, like 8-1, 7-1 at one point. So they brought this back to a little bit more contestable scoreline. However, it is.
I think they've had at least 3, maybe 4 rounds in a row now. So a lot of it off the back of LEGIJA. So yeah, definitely a much better scenario. A pistol win could even up the half, and then statistically we're pretty much back to what we expect on Dust 2. An 8-7 over towards that T side. If you're going on dead-on statistics or something along those lines, that could have even changed. But yeah, not too bad. A 9-6, you're sort of 1 off the regular, and if they can get the pistol. However, we're already talking as if it's a possibility, as if it's a given, but NRG, they go for some hefty aggression early on. Once again, it's a 2-man advantage. tabseN. Oh, PKL was so close. It may not even matter as Yell's just finishing off the remainder. It will be tabseN to peek, and Yell just closes this round down. 10-5 LG. And yeah, it's definitely not just the SHOOWTiME show anymore.
No, Shiz is really stepping above and beyond in this map. And now I've started to definitely notice his frags having a similar impact as to SHOOWTiME's were in the first half, at least, or the early part of the first half.
Triple.
Yeah, nice work. Good stuff for LG. They obviously have come back off of a bit of a decimation in the previous map, 16-9, if I'm correct. So coming back into the second map, you know, you'd expect them to kind of wilt under the pressure, but no, they've reset. They've done a great job of it so far. And they're looking to pick up the final few rounds of this second map as well.
Pistol will definitely do that for them. They get themselves the pistol, probably get themselves the game. We can see the early aggression onto shore. I think they did this last time as well. So rinse and repeat coming in. But boy, if it works, you don't have to fix it. Unfortunately, the push has come down into middle instead. It's a bloodbath, but it's a straight trade at the moment. Peter will be able to give the advantage back to this T side, and it leaves just PKL, the man who we highlighted for not having a particularly good first map. He has done better in this one, and if he can win them the pistol, well, I think everything's forgotten. Yeah,
he's going to at least try and tag down PTR. He can't afford to get caught out in mid. You just need to go join your teammate, Peter. He tags him down, but it doesn't actually land the shot. PKL eventually gets dropped. Peter's going to drop him, and NRG actually coming back into this map with a 6 to 10, so actually not losing out on that pistol, not allowing LG to get right back into this one. So nice stuff so far. But the issue is can they continue it, or are they going to wilt? That's the thing, because if they can't, then LG are going to be looking good to pick up the second map, especially with such a lead. And they are going to go for the 4. So we got the scout on PKL, we got the pistols out.
This is such a risky buy.
Yeah, what the hell are we saying?
You've got 4 SMGs and a USP. Okay, well, B-Rush comes in. FugLy, it does not matter. He gets both kills, starting things off strong. A lot of damage has been done to the remaining players. I just wonder whether or not the CTs will actually opt to challenge this round, because in most scenarios, I think you wouldn't. But, okay, Shiz has found one. Going for a little bit more. FugLy, I would say you're not the person who should be pushing at this point, if anybody. You're very, very low on HP. We've got Gobby. LEGIJA with a scout, so I suppose maybe he shouldn't be pushing either, but FugLy still manages to grab another. He's got his 3rd kill of the round, and now Yell and Destiny, well, it looks like they're just holding for exits.
I can never really see the benefit of those kind of rounds. I understand saving economy and you want to save some money on not investing in rifles, but to go for 4 SMGs and a pistol, I can't justify it, especially on like a map like this, you know, Dust 2. Not a pistol map, not a SMG map.
There's so many. Well, it's pretty much christened the old playground. So yeah, it's renowned for long range. It was a risky play, but there's a reason that you go for these risky plays. I suppose there's a reward, and they're just going to get to keep these into the next round. The only thing that you do have to talk about is they're sort of going to force up into rifles anyway. So even if you just have one player who just has that sort of security, it's still a risky buy. But you have that one AK as a sort of safety. But either way, oh, Destiny. He kept that from the previous round, manages to do a little bit of damage. The problem is the B site has already fallen once again.
Yep, NRG with complete control. The bomb will be making its way through tunnels as well to get planted, but LG likely going to just save this armor and the UMP on Destiny. Considering he still has the armor, it's very important that you at least give him the weapon to save. And that's not a bad gun as well. You can use that in a buy round, play that in a close position, play that on B, play that on aggressive long as well. While it may not be the best for retaking, it's definitely going to be good for holding onto a site, so you can't at least be too scared of it. However, FugLy is going to be chasing things down. He's pushing up towards Zong, but he is alone. He has 3 players to deal with as well, so not exactly a gifted battle for him to take, although Yell just getting tagged down very early on, Shiz as well, and they're both going to be tagged down. Destiny actually making work with that UMP, but Yell's going to drop Destiny, refragging again through the smoke, but the pistol will finish him off. And again,
that's not bad.
That's one of the positives, at least for NRG, is because they have so low investment into these rounds, they can chase, and they can afford to chase.
But then again, you have to remember the fact there that he actually makes quite a bit of money off that. $600 per kill for everybody pushing into him. So for the CT side, you look at Destiny now, he has himself some nades on the board. So definitely not too problematic just yet. We will have Yell onto that glass cannon AWP. He's played this spot before. Going to go for the aggressive push, and well, look at this T side. They're running straight into the blender. SHOOWTiME starting off. PKL will drop the bomb. Well, we're going to see the push straight through the smoke, and yeah, that was semi-suicidal from Peter to try and make that one work out. FugLy is going to try and trade, but nothing coming about, and a nice B hold in the end
so
from LG.
So unnecessary, though. So unnecessary going into your first buy round after picking up the pistol, almost looking like you're going to pull it back to a better scoreline for yourself. You're already a map up.
I guess a surprise factor. But considering that, didn't they get rid of all the SMGs?
Yeah.
Yeah, that is weird. If you're going for a B rush, you may as well have just kept an ump or 2, but... Oh, well.
I don't know. Weird. It was a weird round anyway. It's not going to work out, and now LG going to be able to reap the benefits here. They've got a double up, they've got all the nades, they've got all the utility they could even hope for, and NRG, while they still are able to afford a buy, it is going to be their last ditch buy. Lose out on this, and you're going to lose out onto the eco. So once again, a bit of a mid push here. This time not going to be fast B. NRG do manage to take some control, and actually the entry's going in their favour. But SHOOWTiME, he pushes out. He's going to show us a good time indeed. Got B and tabseN go down. PKL, he's going to get another return on the CT side as FugLy will be left alone in middle.
Oh.
What? 2 kills! And now with PKL tagged up, and then Yell also on the AWP. This is a round that's suddenly looking a little more doable now for NRG.
He's going to go for the rotation now. This is a decent read coming out from PKL. He is going to be holding the angle, but he will miss, and it's FugLy to get his third. The same position as we saw in the last round, but it's looking like FugLy has a good opportunity. Yell, will he actually be holding this cross? That's the question. He will, but he's not going to have the chance to actually take the shot. FugLy pushes back towards the site. That AWP has been dropped on Yell. He picks up the M4 to try and make this retake work. 40 seconds. FugLy is in no rush. And he's just going to try and bait out the plant. I would say it's not the best plant spot in the world. It's the safest one that he has. So he's just going to go looking to see if he can find anything. But Yell, well, I think he's just waiting for the plant at this stage.
I like this play from Yell, though. He's not even committing it. He doesn't care that NRG are going to have the money into the next round. He just wants to waste time, just sit in middle and wait for FugLy to commit to that bomb plant so he can get into his post plant, and Yell can just play it man on man. So FugLy is going to be getting that bomb down eventually, but he doesn't realise exactly where Yell's coming from. Expecting the tunnels push, but knowing there's still the option of window or door. So this is a lot of positions to really deal with. Yell, he's going to push him right through the door, checks it, not going to get anything from it though. He's still continuing with his fight, and oh, there we go, FugLy! He's going to get all 4 kills and takes the clutch as well. NRG, they pick up another round and in phenomenal fashion. Look at this stuff. SHOOWTiME.
Both players do this nice little snap. I love it.
Yeah, look at this. Boom, boom. Easy stuff in the bag there.
That's ridiculous. I wanted to comment on the fact that we finally saw a double AWP come into play. We got PKL, and he does actually get himself 2 kills, so... It's a little bit disappointing we won't get to see that for a little while, in fact, because it's straight back to pistols for the LG side. Got B. Well, he was looking to try and make some money. SHOOWTiME, he's deadly with any weapon. Peter will be there to trade, however, and well, again, that B site is going to fall. LEGIJA and FugLy have just been doing quite a bit of work over towards B, and tabseN will finish things off to make some extra cash with his ump.
Yep, nice stuff. 10 rounds in the bag. And now, after a bit of a shambles in the first half, they've definitely brought it back, and they should be happy that they've done so. However, LG going for this buy, they haven't got the AWP, or 2. They've just got 0, you know. 2 minus 0 is... No, 2 minus 2 is 0. So.
Please stop.
Good old mathematic. They've got the rifles in the bag.
The worst thing is you're about to say 2 minus 0 is 0, which is literally the worst maths ever. That's primary school maths that you just failed at.
I'm cursed.
Never do maths on the stream. We've made this rule.
No. It's when you ask me maths questions.
I didn't ask.
No, when you do, and I think I know what I'm talking about, and I just choke it. And the thing is, I'm not actually that bad at maths. I'm just terrible on stream. Under pressure, it's the maths on the pressure. But SHOOWTiME, push down mid, gonna get caught out. Why would you pull out a nade, LEGIJA? Why? You just saw him push mid. He's gonna be able to get the kill. I don't understand how that makes any sense. But FugLy, is at least going to remove some of the pressure on the side of NRG. But again, Peter going to walk out into the middle, into the grasp of Destiny. PKL and Yell, they're all picking up a kill each. This may almost be a team ace. It's all down to Shiz, but Destiny doubles down. It's going to be Godbeat to fall, and LG, out of nowhere, they just pick up an almost
flawless round. It sounds like
round.
a good thing when you say that, like he falls into the grasp of Destiny. It's like, nope, actually got shot in the face.
Yeah, basically.
We are seeing a little bit of a investment coming in, of course.
What is this?
Well, I think they have the money to buy in the next round.
Can we see the scoreboard so we can justify
I think they do have the money to buy,
okay,
so it's not too much of a problem. It's just, I'm looking at Peter, but he could have invested something here. I think he still has 5,400.
Probably just saving for the AWP, but then again, he could have, yeah.
He could get that anyway.
Yeah.
Okay. LEGIJA with the run and gun manages to find one kill. If only he had the bomb, that would be absolutely perfect. He's going to go challenge the players on short. This should be a nice, easy kill. I say should. Actually gets dinked up, but in the end, they're just being cleaned up. It's only going to be the man with just a P250, but a bomb plant is not bad in this situation. Is going to be going for it. Yell trying to deny, and there come the double nades to finish him off. 13-10. LG, again, looking much, much better.
Yeah, definitely. It's always not over for NRG. They can bring this one back into a win, but LG are definitely taking the biscuit at this point. 13-10. NRG have plenty of money to buy. Peter's going to be on that AWP as well. So he did obviously have a lot of money, combined with the loss bonus and the bomb plant money as well. He's going to be able to buy nades. So nothing too scary. And LG, on the other hand, only a single AWP for the time being, but still, I mean, yeah, there's nothing really to analyze. It's just that.
This is just their standard buy, pretty much. But Yell gonna go for a bit of an early peek. Has to be careful because LEGIJA is in lower. I think he just spotted the arm. Did he see it? It doesn't look like he did just yet. Peter gonna go peeking, and well, he gets finished off. The trade is just not available. Yell is going all the way back. He's gonna try and reposition. Very quick shot, actually catches tabseN as well. Okay, and now he can fall back and relax. He's done his job.
Yeah, definitely. But LEGIJA is actually going to be able to sneak into mid, this time without a nade in his hand, although I say that. He pops out a flash, going to go for the fight, but there's a player in CT. He didn't check it. Destiny drops him. And LG, once again, another man advantage is FugLy. He late splits up short to try and refrag this original pick, but it's not going to go his way as Yell. He gets tagged up, but still no kill. Has he opened his hand? Going to miss the shot. And FugLy, come on, you can do it. There we go. Shiz goes down. Yell's going to bait out his teammate, run back for the hills, and the retake is on as the bomb goes down towards short. But obviously with NRG not with any passive short control, they're going to have to stay on the site because already LG have committed to this angle. The Molotov going to force Godby into the open where he gets executed. Now it's all on FugLy. He has to pick up the kill, but no, Destiny just going to walk around the angle, get the headshot, and secure LG a 14th round. So they're very, very close to the end of the map here. NRG, they've had a bit of a struggle after going into these buy rounds, and LG, they should just be sweeping them under the rug.
Yeah, and the money is not going to be good either. I just love this second shot. The fact that he wasn't quite ready for it and then just still manages to quick scope the angle. Destiny with an easy frag onto LEGIJA, who just runs straight out mid. And well, speaking of LEGIJA, he's actually going to be onto this scout. Now, I wonder how much money they actually have left after this. Yell is going to get tagged, but he's actually going to get tagged twice. 2 hits with the scout onto Yell. He's still only on 20 HP as it has gone through the door and a leg shot. Definitely not the best, but it is a nice bit of early damage, going to help out these pistols, and that's basically what LEGIJA has to do here. If he doesn't hit the headshot, which he has done previously, then at least he's going to be doing some damage.
But heavy short push from NRG, the flashes and smokes go over. Yell's just backing off now. He gets fully blinded, but these players still haven't crossed towards the site. The Molotov doing a lot of damage there onto all of the players, so that's going to be quite good, and at least tagging them up very early. I mean, the M4 is going to be even more lethal now, but bomb going down. They go back towards short to hold this one off. We have LEGIJA with the scout.
That's the third time he's hit Yell.
Yeah, that's quite unfortunate. Finally, he takes him down, though, and SHOOWTiME pushing in through mid to try and retake the site. But they know that this is a short plant. That's the only thing that NRG will really do in this position. Okay, these pistols are working wonders. BTR and FugLy both going to pick up a kill. Now it's all on the long control on LG.
And you have to wonder if it's actually worth challenging at this stage. There's 5 players remaining. They picked up some rifles as well. Really, all they want to do is just keep these weapons into the next round, but they can take a couple of players with them. They've got close players coming in from long now as tabseN. Well, he's going to get himself another couple of kills, and that will finish off this round. They'll save the AWP. Not going to be too much more saved overall. And, well, now we look towards this T side. They should be able to get a buy back in. You've got the AWP available for Yell, but it will be a FAMAS drop to Shiz instead, and there we go. Everything else is relatively comfortable, but if they lose this round, this may not be done just yet. LG leaving it a little bit close. LEGIJA will be back on the scout, and I can see why, but tabseN, he's going to take that AWP timing. Peter with another, and this double AWP and scout setup working out well so far.
Indeed. tabseN pushing up towards middle to try and find another. He does do so. PKL's going to be dropped, and one by one, LG, they are going to fall. NRG has suddenly switched it into overdrive, and it just seems to be non-stop for them. Shiz over on that box now. There is a player crossing towards the site. How have they not realised? Oh, PTR was going for the knife, but he's going to get shot in the back anyway. Shiz going to be able to at least get a kill for his troubles, but FugLy still close towards middle and just making all these footsteps. This is going to mean that FugLy has full knowledge of his whereabouts. SHOOWTiME has to pull out the clutch now, pushing in through tunnels. Bomb's already down. The Molotov's trying to force him back in, but he goes for the peek anyway, and FugLy actually takes him down. NRG going to be able to take a 12th. And this is actually suddenly looking a little bit better for them. They are coming back into this one. I almost called them out as, you know, just losing in this map now. But now
FugLy has stepped up massively onto this T side. He didn't start well, not like the last, but he has continued it. Peter as well with the AWP has started to have some better rounds, and you have to remember it was all started off by a couple of rounds brought home by LEGIJA, so definitely some good individual play. We're waiting to see if they can actually take this back. Obviously in this round, well, we're expecting them to win this round. They already have themselves a push going into the A site. Nice shot from Peter, and he's just going to be shooting fish in a barrel. Can he? Oh, okay. It looks so easy up until that point.
He's really been phenomenal with that PT50, hasn't he? Every single time he's just been absolutely bodying them. So
doesn't need the AWP.
No, doesn't need the AWP. Why is he using it? Back on that PT50 grind. But LG calling out a pause, that's going to make sense. Obviously a tactical pause at this point. They've lost quite a few rounds in a row. If we have a look at the scoreboard, we can see exactly that. It's 3 in a row. I mean, it's not quite a lot, but still their half has been shaky. Only managed to gather 4 so far. So either way, NRG having a really good performance into this second half.
Yeah, definitely looking like a much more T-sided Dust 2. NRG really could have been out of this one if they didn't come back, because we were at a sort of position where it was the difference between 9-3, 9-6. It ended 10-5, but the way it was going, it could have quite easily been a sort of 12-3 half in the favour of LG. So the fact that we're now at 14-13, I think things have definitely changed significantly. We've seen some individuals step up massively, but it is still the lead for LG. They do still have a buyer coming back in. Yell has saved for his AWP as per. And, well, although a couple of players have slowed down, it's not like SHOOWTiME is just going absolutely ham anymore. There's still a huge amount of impact coming in. And it's definitely not like we're just looking towards one player anymore.
No. I don't like doing this, but I'm going to do it anyway. Do you have a prediction? What do you think while we're on this pause?
I don't know. I think LG will finish it.
Really?
Yeah, I'm just going to stick with the 1-1.
All right. I'm going to go with my gut, and I'm going to say NRG will put it back.
You're going with momentum. I'm going with, okay, it's 14-13.
Yeah. You're going with maths there.
Yeah, I'll go with maths, because that's clearly what I'm good at.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. But unpause called out, so we'll be going back into the match now. 28 rounds deep. And LG are going to be going for their buy. So they have Yell on the AWP, they have the rifles across the board. No kit, something interesting to pick up on. I'm not a fan, but let's, okay.
What was that?
He spawned, someone threw a nade. They were trying to throw it out the map so they could buy a Molotov, but it rebounded. Luckily enough,
only did 1.
Yeah, no damage. So
oh, we've seen this before. FugLy going very, very aggressive and a lot of counter flashes, but it will be LEGIJA to start things off. Quick trade. And tabseN and Co are just going to be pushing all the way up long at the moment. The rotation is coming, but it may just be a little bit too late. Shiz, you've got a lot of work to do. You need to try and make sure you're not caught out in this position, and it does look like they're set up ready for a retake. They're not going to challenge open out, and I can respect that.
Yeah, but Peter, he's going to be on the flank, and they are not going to be aware of it. He takes down 1. This is where he needs to back off. There's no need to continue fighting. Just take your man advantage and just hide. Play the trade game, basically, and LG are just going to go straight up for this retake, not even going to try and chase down Peter. There's tabseN towards short, but I think they've almost given up with this one, especially with the utility being used to hold them back off this site. It seems like they want to give away this round, and yeah, the lack of kit, as we said, is going to come back to bite them in the behind. As NRG, they actually managed to equalise it back up to 14 rounds. Maybe maths isn't the best choice, Tom.
Oh, no. I kind of wanted to say it just to be a little bit interesting, but we'll see. I still believe in Brazil. There you go.
That's how you get yourself fans, boys.
I just don't want them coming after me, that's all it is.
Right.
I'm scared. I'm scared of Brazil. And so should NRG. There we go. Full circle.
So should NRG.
Full circle. But, well, one thing that NRG definitely have in their favor, other than the fact that they're now on, what, 4-round streak, is the money. Then there's no real chance of them being reset towards the end of this game unless we're heading over to overtime. Oh,
I thought that hit.
Not quite going to hit. Yell back on his AWP, of course, saving that from the previous round. And it will be, well, a sort of worse by slightly in terms of weaponry, although SHOOWTiME showing how it's done with the FAMAS starting things off, gets the first kill of the round. And what I was going to say is their utility has slightly improved.
Yeah, that is one positive at least to look at. And NRG down a man right when they didn't need it. They're going to be hitting towards short. Again, they do have so much money, so even if they do lose out this round, overtime is still a possibility at this point. So they are going to hit up short. That's FugLy leading this charge. Molotov's going to be set up, and yes, this will be a full commitment. They've got all 4 of their players residing in this sector as they start to make their way. Actually, one backing off now. That's Peter with the AWP as per usual. Chiz, flash leads going out. He goes to the fight, lands himself one, tries to follow up, and he does. Now it's all onto Gob on short. He's the only player left. Peter holding the flank. Gob gets one, but he does eventually fall to the AWP of Yell. And now Peter, he's got to come back at least from a real deficit over on short, trying to jump in. He lands in CT. That's a massive performance. They don't know where he is. He misses a shot. No. SHOOWTiME ducks below it. He re-peeks, gets himself one, but Yell trades. And 15 rounds found by LG. That could have been the round for Peter if he hit that first shot.
Let's go, maths.
Shut up. The game's not over yet.
We are seeing the double AWP setup come in as well. They were so close to lining up there for Peter, as we said. They were so very close.
I was dreaming.
Oh, hello, triple AWP. They really are going for this. Probably just going to drop one after the beginning of the round, but
useless. They
do not hit anyone. And the first AWP kill comes in for Yell. tabseN is down.
Yeah, and he actually uses that AWP towards long as well. But LEGIJA, what is this? He pushes straight down to middle, lands himself one, doesn't follow up with a second as Shiz drops him, and his teammate's throwing that smoke in CT like, mate, you need to stop peeking CT without a smoke. He goes down eventually, and this just seems like the crumble here from NRG. The pressure has got to them, and now it will just be the complete wipe down.
Go
LG, they pick it up.
Maths.
16 rounds to LG. Tom could be muted and kicked, and NRG, they're going to miss out on the second map as well. Yeah, the button's next to me. I might press it. They're going to miss out on the second map, despite picking up 16-9 in the first with a great performance from NRG. They are going to find a fault, and that is going to be the map going to LG as well. But that isn't what we're complete. That isn't all that we have for tonight. Obviously, we're going to have CLG versus C9 coming up next, both on Mirage as well. Yeah,
and well, C9 at the very, very top of the board. I think CLG are actually one of the teams with less games played, so there is, I think, still an opportunity, but the double Mirage, Cloud9, I think we will probably go into that in a moment, but it's going to be very, very difficult for them. Obviously, to talk a little bit about that one, we are going to have a little bit of a switch up of how it went. Obviously, a much closer game. It looks like they did rectify some problems. E.g., PKL actually had a reasonable game. It wasn't like he was the standout player, but he had some impact rounds, and I think that's the most important thing. Overall, still SHOOWTiME just going ham, but he definitely had, he had support, and I think Yell as well had a few rounds with that AWP that were hugely impactful.
Yeah, great map for LG. I really didn't expect them to pick it up, even after they started taking the round leads. You know, really kind of was coming back into formation for NRG. However, at the end of the day, the maths does win. Tom is going to be victorious in his prediction for that map, but we will have 2 more coming up later, as we said. Mirage double down on CLG versus C9. So we're going to go for a short break before that one, and we'll be back with you in 5 to 10 minutes for the second, or for the third matchup of the night.